Apologies, I was on mute. Hello, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the Group 2 race from La Margiotte, race 8 of the 10 race championship. We've got an interesting race coming up. 10 drivers in the race. So yeah, we'll see what happens this afternoon. So yeah, the race is a little bit earlier today because of the Formula 1 start at 5:10. We've got this and the Group 3 race, which is a little bit later tonight at 7:30. So we'll indeed see what happens. Just sorting myself out, so we'll see. So we've got 10 runners today in the race. We've got Riccardo Patrese out on track, and the DWT team have changed their livery this week. Looks like they've gone for a Haas-styled livery this week. We've got Ed Ashton-Smith out on track. We've got Havoc, AJ. The real Tracy's out on track. Sean's also out on track. Martin's also racing today, as is Harley. Harley's racing today, and hopefully he has a good result. I know he was a very, very late call up indeed. Hello Smalley, and no. We've got Marco out on track as well. He's the third of the DWT drivers this weekend. Tay's out on track, and also we've got Robot. So that's the 10 runners. Let's see what Ed gets for a first time, as he's first out on track. This is a demanding track we've got here. Very demanding little section. This is quick and fast. This is flat through here as well. Heading down to possibly the best corner in the whole of Gran Turismo, in my honest opinion. It's off-cambered hairpin. You've just got to get it, be so committed into that corner. But at the same time, be careful that you don't go off into the gravel on the left-hand side on the exit. In a Group 3 car, no, this is nearly flat through here. But then you just got to get on the brakes and get into the section. Zed now coming through the final few corners on the lap. Yes, I may have my opinion, Smalley, but it's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to it. Zed comes through for the first time over 46.3. Havoc comes through on 46.2. AJ 47, the real Tracy goes quicker, as does Sean. 45.8, 45.3. Martin's a 47.1. Harley there into the 47s as well. Marco's the next one through. Marco goes up with 47.0. Last two left. Tay's now through as he goes into the 44s early on, 44.5. It's a great time for him. Robot, final one through, 47.3. So the times are very evenly matched early on indeed. Everyone from 6th is all very close together. Everyone 4th and 5th are close, and the top 3 are fairly close. They're within a second of each other early on. This is a demanding track on tyres as well, so this is going to be a very interesting race indeed. People out there out on stream, we've got a few already. Phil Babbage is out there, Smalley's out there, Jay's out there, Dave Turner's out there. Then Smalley out from on a ship. So Yeah, but he's still out on the ship, Smalley, by the way. Please say if you are or you aren't. I think people will be also in the pits at the end of this lap as well. Because I think this truck, because of the way tyres degrade, although it goes slightly quicker, 46.0. And AJ also goes quicker, so they're taking a gamble by carrying on one more extra lap, which mightn't be a bad idea, because I think we'll have enough time to get one more lap at the end of the session. As a real Tracy lets his teammate go. And their Haas-style liveries, I think it's styled on the Haas for after what happened with Roman Grosjean last week, I believe, judging by the Grosjean decal they've got at the front. So Tracy's been in, Sean's been in, Tracy's been in, Ed's on another lap now, but I expect him very much to be in the pit lane, possibly. Although he is 3/10 blue middle sector. Havoc is on an out lap. AJ is still on another lap as well, so let's see if he potentially comes in at the end of this lap. Comes through this fast little left-right section. He's 4/10 up as well, but he's got a bit of work to do. He's one of the two that's in the championship fight at this stage. He's got a penalty here, so I think he might abandon this lap. Ed, well, he's in the pit lane. I'm not surprised. AJ also in the pit lane, so he'll be able to screw his penalty off this time. So I'm going to watch Havoc now on his lap. I'm going to go on board with Havoc, see how he takes this lap as he goes through turn 3 there, and he into turn. This is a tricky little right-hander to get right, but as soon as you get out of there, get on the power, you've then got to get on the brakes and make sure you don't hit that outside line, because if you hit it and hit the line of the grass, you're still round. Now heading into the chicane here. Take as much curb as you can without making sure you get a penalty as well. You need to attack that curb a little bit more for me, but all's good. It's flat through this section in Group 2 or Group 3. As he's slightly up on his time, but he's not going to make a major improvement on this lap. He's now going into the off-camber hairpin. Probably needs to attack that corner just a little bit more. As now it's flat out through this section. Left, right. Cuts a time marker just underneath advertisement boarding. Into the final little section. Now into the final corner. It's easier to hit that curb with a wheel as he improves his time, but still remains fourth. As now Sean goes quicker, 44.8. And Tracy also on the 44.8 as well, so he improves his time a little bit more. Martin goes 46.7. One I want to watch though is Tay, just see if he is improving, because he is one of the ones that went out on a fresh set of tyres this time round. So into the final corner, hits the curb as hard, he goes 46.8 as well, improves his time a little bit. And Tay does improve to 44.2. That's a very, very good time indeed from Tay. I'm going to watch AJ on this lap now, because he's going into what will be his final lap of qualifying. Let's just watch him go. He's got to get up there if he's going to fight for the championship with Tay. Otherwise, he'll lose too much ground if he doesn't. As he goes through this section here, he's a second up on his own time. So he's on to improve, but I don't know how much he can improve by as he goes into this hairpin section here. Into the left, right, flat out kinks. He's still 1.1 up on his time. So we'll be interested to see where this time puts him. It'll put him, I think, around 3rd or 4th. Zed improves to 45.6, Havoc improves 45.9, but they still remain 4th and 5th. As AJ goes 44.6, he actually improves his time by quite a bit. He goes front row. That's a very, very good improvement there. As AJ's one of the, sorry, Racer Tiz one of the last to come through now. He's come through the final corner. And he goes, he doesn't improve his time, but he stays pole. He was the last to come through, so Racer Tiz on pole. We'll see what happens. With the race today, so T on pole, AJ, Sean, Real Tracy, Ed, Havoc, Martin, Harley, Marco and Robot bringing up the grid. 10 runners, so everyone's guaranteed some sort of points today. So we'll keep an eye on AJ, see what he does here from the front row. And he's away. We're all away. We're off. As the front two have made a very, very good start. AJ is trying to attack around the outside, but he just doesn't. Tay's just got enough space to deal with. The Sean's having a look down the inside of AJ, but just doesn't quite have enough now into turn 3. Now into turn 4. Sean's still carrying on having a look down the inside. For some reason I can't go on board just yet, but I'll fix that at the end of this first lap. So AJ has held on to second. He's managed to get out of Sean. He's glitching all over the place here, AJ. Just needs to be careful a little bit. Sean's up to 3rd. Havoc's made a good start from 5th. He's up to 4th. He's got ahead of Tracy. Harley's made a very good start from 8th. He's up to 6th. Harley's a very quick driver. And he's got a lot of potential to do well here. Ed up in 7th as well. In fact, he's gone, I think he's gone down 1, I think, off memory. It's 1 or 2. Marco is alongside Martin as they're heading into the hairpin. Martin has pulled the move off. He's just braked a bit too late. That's unlucky. As Havoc spins. Havoc spun. That's unlucky for Havoc. As he goes back down the order, he's now last. So he's got to try and recover just a little bit and just get back into the race a little bit here. So as Racer Tay's pulled out a second lead over Sean. What's happened? AJ's had an incident as well. AJ's had an incident as well because AJ has gone down into 6th place. So that's bad news for him and his championship hopes. He's now going to battle Harley as they go side by side into turn 1. AJ has... He's glitching all over the place here, AJ. This is... He needs to sort his connection out. But AJ is now back up into 5th. He's just glitching all over the place. And as Marco looks down the inside of Harley as well and gets him. I'm just going to fix... I'm just going to fix that so that now fix onboard camera so I can go on board. You're right, Smalley, something needs to be done because that's something needs to be sorted out there as now AJ's up in the 5th place and now he's coming up to Ed now for 4th. Indeed, I actually agree with that one, Smalley, without shadow of doubt. It did cost Harley a little bit because Harley didn't know where to place his car, so something needs to be sorted out with AJ's connection. As now he's on the back of Ed. Let's see what he can do here to get himself past. He's already nearly 6 seconds behind Tay. This is not a section where you can get past very easily. He's going to have to wait until at least turn 1 before he can have another go. He comes through the final corner now. Ed he's up the fourth, so he's recovered his first lap. His start, and he's got up the fourth. That's a good effort from Ed as they go into turn 1. AJ, he was in the slipstream. I think he just braked a bit too late. But he did well not to go into the back of Ed there. And now he comes through the section. He's dropped back a little bit as a result of braking a bit too late for turn 1. So just while they settle down a little bit, Ed's up in fourth, obviously. Real Tracy up in third place, doing a solid job for his team DWT. I know there's a few DWT fans and drivers in the stream as well, so they'll be pleased to see that there's a double podium as it stands at the minute, but it's very early on. Tay has just driven away a little bit from Sean. He's 2.5 seconds or so away from, but he's going purple this lap, so this is just going to be a little battle to keep an eye on for now. There's now Ed and AJ. Let's just watch this battle develop as they come through the little left-right piff-paff sections. AJ needs to get past, but Ed won't. They're battling legitimately for position, so he's just going to have to sit and be patient at this stage. He needs every point he can for the championship, but at the second time, he can't do anything about it. He's just got to sit and wait for an opportunity. Marco in 6th, he's a little bit in no man's land because there's a gap in front and a gap behind. Martin's just edged in front of Harley, who's in front of Robot now. Robot's into 9th, and of course Havoc, who made that first lap mistake, is indeed last. So meanwhile, Tay has increased his gap to Sean that last lap. He's half a second quicker than Sean. Sean's made a mistake. He's hit the grass. Oh, he's hit the grass and run wide, but he's recovered it before Riccardo Patrese comes back on track. Fortunately for Sean, he loses time to race at Tay, but he keeps his second place, fortunately. And Ed's up into third. He's passed Real Tracy as well, so that's now Ed up into the podium places. He's now got Tracy in between AJ, as AJ now makes a move down the inside into the hairpin as well, so that's another good move from AJ. No touching or anything. That's a very, very good move indeed from the championship contender. Is now Riccardo Patrese is looking all over AJ. There's a bit of a touch there, and he backs out just to give AJ a little bit of room. Sometimes there is touching during racing, which you cannot help. But he gave AJ room after that, so that's fair driving from Riccardo Patrese. Is now Ed has moved onto the back of Sean here for second place. Let's just watch this battle with real interest. Is now Sean and Ed head down to this little tricky hairpin. And now just head around this tricky little left, right, left complex. Sean is he's just breaking the gap a little bit. Now just coming down into the hairpin. Just your thoughts out there, people on YouTube. What do you think the top three will be today? What are your thoughts? As AJ now is battling again with Tracy's not allowing him to get away. This is indeed a very good battle. Tracy looks down the inside, but it's just a little bit too far back to make a move stick. But AJ at the minute is being forced to defend. The Riccardo Patrese just ran wide there, coming out of that turn. And has just dropped back a little bit in his challenge to AJ. Just going to run through some other runners as well. We've got Marco in 6th. They're still holding on to his 6th place. Just again, like I said, a little bit of no man's land at the minute. Yes, I am lonely, P2. Very, very lonely. Normally I'm used to having people to talk to. You know. But hello, P2, welcome along. Martin's in 7th. He's just holding the gap back to Harley is fairly static. And Havoc's now got in front of Robot, and Robot is running in 10th place. Yeah, I'll go along with that one, Smalley. Tay, Astro and AJ. Yeah, I think that'll be a decent show for the podium. This Tay now's just built up a 6-second lead. Attacking the track, he's really attacking, coming out of that corner. Sean 2nd, he's kept the gap back to Ed as fairly static to about 8-9 tenths, nearly a second. So that gap was remaining fairly similar. As they're both setting similar lap times, I bet that's a cigarette paper between lap times. Age is just finally gapping Riccardo Patrese a little bit now in 5th place. And he's trying to move back onto the back of Ed for the top 3. As Sean looks like he's made a bit of a mistake actually, as Ed's coming back onto him. 46.9, 46.7, so there's a slight improvement in lap times. It's now up to Sean to see if he can defend. He's just getting a little bit of a tail wag out of turn 1. As he now heads into out of turn 2. As he comes now through turn 4. He's just having to be defend a little bit now. Ed's starting to come up onto the back of him as they head up into the fast little chicane. This is almost turning into a 3-car train for 2nd place. And just looking on tyres, Sean and Ed's got better front tyres, no questions about it. He's got better than AJ and he's similar to Riccardo Patrese, so he's doing a very, very good job here. And putting a bit of pressure on Sean, but he's going to have to be careful and think about the moves he makes, otherwise AJ is going to have him. Yes, I know, Dave, I'm just a poor silhouette of a man. Scalaboosh, scalaboosh. Is now heading into the final corner. Now, Sean's in the pit lane, and so is AJ. So that's 2nd and 4th in. That's 2nd and 4th in, so now we're going to see what strategies people will play. As Sean and AJ are now back out on track. Havoc also in the pit lane as well, so is Robot, so I believe Martin might be in as well. Yeah, Martin's in as well. So everyone... I don't think Marco's... Is Marco pitted? No, Marco's not pitted. So Harley's not stopped, Marco's not stopped, Ed's not stopped, and Racer T hasn't stopped neither. Is now Riccardo Patrese is just a little bit further back, taking a lot out of that curb. I don't know, but thunderbolts and lightning, Dave. As now Tracy just heads into the hairpin. Just interested to see what the gap is from Sean back away, Jade. It's holding steady at about 2 seconds. So I think Sean might jump accordingly in the pits, but my feeling is that if they pit now, their tyres are... people who've pitted now, their tyres are going to be a lot worse a lap later. As Tay's in. Tay's now in the pit lane for his first stop of the day. He's taking on fuel. Ed's in, and so's Riccardo Patrese. And Sean here, he's almost reached the back of Racer Tate already, but so now we've got a little bit of an interesting battle here for the lead. Tate's taking a little bit of fuel on. And AJ's also jumped in the pit stops as well, so AJ's up to 3rd, Tracy's now up to 4th. Ed's down to 6th, but Ed will have fueled accordingly. So at this stage I wouldn't be too worried if I was Ed, because I think the others have still got to fuel up more than what he has. Marco in 5th, he I reckon is going to be doing a potential 1-stop, as he's now got Ed up behind him. If I was Marco, I wouldn't fight him too hard. As he heads into the hairpin. No, he's holding on. He's holding on. It's a battle for track position, of course, and this might help Tracy just break the gap to Ed a little bit. As now Ed looks down the inside, and nope, he's still closing the door. This has got to be team tactics, surely, from Marco. Gap to Riccardo Patrese. He's now heading out to 4.5, nearly 5 seconds with all the defending here from Marco. Oh, there's a bit of a bump there as Marco heads in the pit lane. Well, that gap has just ballooned out of nearly 5.5 seconds. But Ed can now, in clear air, just focus on himself and just focus what needs to be done. As Martin's now up in the 6th, he's jumped Marco in the pit stops as well. Harley as well has completed his first stop, out back on track. I'm surprised that the Gwen's boys drivers, they're not having as good a run as I suspected they might do. Havoc and Robot in 9th and 10th places. I'm very surprised, so let's just see what they can do. As Tay's now, he's extended the lead out to Sean now to coming up to 1.5 seconds. Sean's made the jump in the pit lane. He's in 2nd place and doing all right. Yes, Molly, it's probably because you're ship shape today. Indeed. AJ's now in 3rd. He needs to work on trying to catch Sean here if he can. But my thinking is I don't think he has the pace to catch him. As Tay sets a new fastest lap of the race, 44.3. Sean, he's a few tenths back from that, and that point as well could prove very interesting in the race. I'm just going to take a check on championship positions. Because I'm just trying to remember what the gaps are in terms of championship. So Tay's 15 points ahead of AJ at the minute. As if results stay the way they are, including the fastest lap, Tay's going to go 26 clear of AJ. And Havoc in third, he's going to drop back significantly, only being in 9th place. As now I've got Real Tracy in 4th, he's gained a track limits penalty. The gap isn't really changing between him and Astro in 5th. So hopefully that might change in the pit stops, considering Tracy's got less fuel than Astro has at the minute. So let's just see what unfolds and what transpires for the rest of the race. So that might change, yeah. Martin is in 6th now, battling Marco. So let's just keep an eye on this battle. I would dearly like Martin to have a good race today, and he is having a good race so far, so I would like to see him stay there at the minute, because he is a very, very good driver, a very capable driver. So let's just hope he can do very well out of this, as he's holding off Marco into turn 1 and into turn 2. So now it's just, this is a flat out kink of 3. Marco's just not far enough to make a move, as they're now going into turn 4. Heading now down into the hairpin of 5. This is just corner, just does feel like it never ends. Marco's heading down the inside now of Martin. Let's see if Martin can hold him off. He can't. He's down the inside, but a little bit too far back. That's Marco's made that stick now. That's a good move from Marco up to 6th place. Both got equal amounts of fuel. Harley there sitting in 8th place. Also, well, he's got a little bit less fuel than Martin, so he'll have to fuel a bit more in stops. Havoc still there in 9th, not really making any kind of impression at the minute, which is very surprising for this race. And Robot there in 10th, not having one of his better days, but hopefully next week might be a bit different. Tay has improved his gap on Sean now. He's managed to get that out 4.5 seconds, and he's got significantly more fuel, so now Tay should be able to drive away from the pack. Yeah, it was a good move from Marco, Dave. It was very nice executed. Sean just keeping the gap back to AJ, the steady 2.5, 3 seconds. And AJ needing turn, he's keeping Riccardo Patrese back in a similar sort of gap, and Ed's still not making the kind of impression I was thinking he was going to make last lap times. Well, they're about similar. They're very similar. 45 fours for both of them. There's barely thousands of a second between them. But like I said, I think Ed has to take on less fuel his second stop, so I'm expecting Tracy to come back to Ed a little bit throughout the next stops, as the gap is it's still around 6.5 between them. Marco now in 6th place. He's 9 seconds away from Ed, and he's pulling away very quickly from Martin. this stage in the race, the field has just settled down a little bit. Just settled down a little bit. So they're all fairly spaced out from each other. Harley there, Nate. It's his first race in this car today, and his first chance of getting any sort of miles on the clock. So to be, he's having a good run considering. He's having a good run considering. They're still in 10th, but he's. I don't think this is. I don't think this is a track he's 100% comfortable with. He's now just going back to the front. AJ's pulling away from Sean now. He's really pulling away from him as well. Just asserting some sort of control over this race. Sean's picked up a 4/10 penalty there, so, and he's got the flashing light of doom, so he may have to pit either at the end of this lap or definitely at the end of next. I'm suspecting it's going to be the end of this lap, which if he is, and taking into account people's fuel around him, he might lose places in the pit stops. Is now heading through by a few corners. Let's just see if Sean heads for the pit lane. He's losing plenty of time now to Tay. His tyre wear's really starting to kick in. And yep, he's in. He's in the pit lane. So let's just see, he's getting tyres on, and he's going to put plenty of fuel. He's got to get plenty of fuel in to go to the finish. And he's away. So he's had to put in nearly 3/4 of a tank just to get him to the finish. So he's going to have to look after his tyres now to the end of the race. So even though he might jump people after they pit, now at the end of the race they may be pushing him as his tyres wear out. So I'm not quite so sure about that strategy that he's got on. So now let's allow Ed back into 4th, but also just judging by people's fuel, AJ's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, quite possibly, and Tracy. Ed might be able to go another lap, but he may be able to gain some time by not having to fuel as much when he pits in. As he now comes through the little left-right, I'll tell you what, Tracy's starting to close onto the back of AJ here for 2nd place. As AJ, very nearly gone to the pit wall there. As AJ, Tracy and Sean and Astro are in. Yeah, I'll agree. I'm agreeing with you there, Dave. I'm not 100% sure on that strategy that he's got on. And that is just about the worst result Ed could have wished for. Out of that pit stop, to be stuck behind Marco, because he'd lost time to Marco after that first pit stop, and now he's stuck behind him again. That is just about the worst result he could have got. And he's trying his best to get past quickly, because otherwise he's going to lose any chance he's got to get back up to Riccardo Patrese. Although Marco, I think, will have to pit at the end of this lap. Just watching now coming through this fast little section. Marco is defending, but all he's doing is defending and costing himself time. Now come through the hairpin, no, he can't get past. And the time that Ed's made up in the pit stops, he's losing that, sitting behind Marco as Tay's now entering the pit lane for his second stop. I'm just going to keep an eye on this battle whilst Tay's in the pit lane. He's heading through the final few corners now. I think Marco will be in at the end of this lap, but that'll be absolutely no consolation for Ed. Yep, there you go. That's Marco in from 5th. But he's got plenty of time back to Havoc, so should keep his 6th place. Havoc has actually, I did notice he had a bit more fuel than Martin did when he came into the pit lane there, so he's managed to jump both Martin and Harley, who are not separated by not very much. Robot there still battling away in 10th place, hasn't given up throughout this race. This Tay's now he's got an 8.5 second lead now on Sean and AJ, who's now behind him. This could be a battle for position building up, and also Tracy there in 4th as well. Ed and 5th will be gutted. There's been a change for position. No, there hasn't, sorry, before you get excited. It's me getting mixed up. AJ's still coming. Oh, he braked a bit too late there, almost gone to the back of Sean into the hairpin. Grim watching up from a ladder, putting up Christmas lights. Well, it takes all sorts, Grim. Very, very dedicated of you. And is the cat up there with you? Otherwise, I'll just start saying that you don't like cats. And now Tay's just broken away from Sean now in 2nd. Sean's just gapped AJ a little bit, and now Tracy's coming into the battle as well. This could be an interesting battle here for 2nd place. Rufus is on ground level, so that must be Rufus Cat, not Rufus Hound. As Sean's now having to keep AJ and Tracy behind him. Let's just see what AJ can do. AJ needs to get past for his championship, because at the second time he is going to be losing 11 points to Tay in the championship. As now Tracy's come onto the back of them. This is now a 3-car scrap. AJ's made his move and made it stick as well. That's a very good move there from AJ. There was no contact whatsoever. So now that's AJ up into 2nd place. But he needs to just make sure that he holds on to this and then drive away from Sean. The gap between 4th and 5th is about 8 seconds, so that's holding it pretty static, and now AJ, I believe, should be able just to drive away and just build a bit of gap. But now it's going to become a DWT battle for 3rd place. I'm just wondering if there's anyone in the DWT camp who can hear. Is there going to be any team orders, or is this just going to be an all-out scrap for the podium? I'm just interested to know. Is Riccardo Patrese going to hold on and stay behind Sean, or is he going to battle Sean to the end? Just out of interest out there, who do you think your driver of the day is as well? Just from... Oh, Sean's at Tracy through. Sean's at Tracy through. So that's Sean now back down to fourth. Tracy's heading for the podium. So he's at the quicker man through, so let's see if Tracy can battle back to AJ and make us another fight for second place. Well, let's hope not, Ryan. Let's hope not. Just needs to stay cool and just drive the next 3 laps. And just don't even think about the podium. Just drive what's in front of you. I reckon Sean might get himself in to do a fastest lap attempt. Either this lap or next lap. So now AJ's, I think he's going to be thankful to be second, but this race ain't over, folks, because Tracy's there in third. Let's just see if he can battle to the back of AJ and just make this a fight for second place. As they're now heading down into the hairpin, AJ's car's full of movement. It doesn't seem quite as settled as what I was expecting it to be. Not stuck to the road as I thought. It's just very slidey. Come through this fast little section. Yeah, you can tell Tracy's just making time up on him. This is going to be the battle to watch for second place for the final few laps. Sean and Astro just go through the other positions just whilst they're going through to the end of the race. Astro in fifth. He's had a good drive today, considering. I think he was very unlucky to get caught behind Marco out of both his pit stops. Without them, I think he could have been pushing for the podium. Marco in sixth. He's had a good run. I can't really say too much about it. He's had a fairly lonely race. Havoc's now up to 7th place. He made a mistake at the end of lap 1 and he's not been able to do too much fighting back. Martin and Harley. Oh no, Harley's had a spin coming out of the hairpin. That's unlucky. I was just about to say both of them have had a fairly decent, if not quiet, race. That's hard lines there for Harley, but hopefully he can do well. Don't confuse me there, Lee, because I'm also called Ash. That's why I call him Riccardo Patrese. Robot there in 10th. He's been fairly quiet all race. So now to go back to the battle for second here between AJ and Riccardo Patrese. Let's just see what happens from now to the end of the race for them. It's been here where Riccardo Patrese's been making his time up on AJ. Yeah, I know, Lee. It's just sometimes when I see my name I get confused. Tracy he's closing right up. It's the middle part of the lap where he's better than AJ. AJ's better through the first part of the lap, and then Riccardo Patrese's better through the middle part of the lap. So if he can stay close to Riccardo Patrese throughout the first part of the lap, then he's got a decent chance of grabbing second here. But AJ needs to fight as hard as he can for his championship as Racer Tay goes over the line to start his final lap of the race. He's controlled this race from the very start. So now let's just see what Riccardo Patrese can do going through the first couple of corners. Can he stay close enough? You see, he's losing time out of that corner. As into the right hand turn, there comes AJ. Patrese just needs to hang on through this section, potentially close the gap by a couple of tenths to give himself a fighting chance. No, he's losing time. He's losing time, but I think he's losing out on his chance to fight back here, because this is where he is quicker than AJ. No two ways about it. No, he's dropping back. So I think that's enough for AJ to hold on to second. As Tay's now coming to the final few turns to have an utterly dominant win. Pole position, fastest lap, every single lap led. That's all the boxes tick for AJ today as he comes through the final corner. As now, this is Tay coming through. That's him. That's the win. That's very, very good stuff from Racer Tay today. As AJ's just going to hold off Riccardo Patrese for second place, and Riccardo Patrese is going to get third as he comes across the line now. Sean finishes fourth and grabs the fastest lap right at the very last. He must have pitted for fresh tyres as sure as as Astro does J10 over the line for fifth place. Marco makes 3 DWT cars in the top 6. That's a very good drive from Marco indeed. As Havoc tries to do the same thing and finishes 7th. Martin comes through for 8th. Harley's going to come through and finish in 9th place. Just going through the final corner. Let's just see what antics he pulls off here. I know what he's going to do. He's trying to do a donut. Ha ha ha! He's got plenty of time to do so, I suppose. So that's Harley through for 9th. Oh, Havoc left the room. What's that connection issue right at the end as Robot finishes in 10th place. So there we have it, folks. There's Tay with an utterly dominant victory. All I've got to say is that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you later on tonight for the Group 3 race. Catch you soon.